Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that every dollar you own has been divided equally among everyone in the world. Overnight, the bank balance you counted on is gone. Within a year, maybe less, the money will find its way back into the same pockets it came from. Why? Because wealth is never just about the cash. It's about the person who handles it. Money is a reflection of growth, not the cause of it. That's why the real question isn't, how can I earn more? But how can I become more? Work harder on yourself than you do on your job, and you'll never have to worry about starting over. I learned this lesson as a young man who thought extra hours would buy success. I stayed late, showed up early, and believed the time clock measured my future. Then a mentor stopped me mid-stride and said, "Jim, you don't get paid for your time. You get paid for the value you bring to that time. If you want your life to change, don't beg for a raise. Raise yourself." His words hit me like a thunderclap. That night I realized the difference between wages and wealth, between making a living and making a life. Working harder on yourself doesn't mean quitting your job or ignoring responsibility. It means understanding that the job is only a classroom and you are the curriculum. The real promotion is the person you are becoming. Companies can hand out new titles, but unless your thinking expands, the title is just a sticker on an old box. True advancement comes when you invest in the raw material of you, your attitude, your skills, your discipline, your curiosity. So how do you begin? First, ask the question most people avoid. Who am I becoming while I chase this paycheck? It's easy to confuse activity with progress, but activity without personal growth is a treadmill. You move, you sweat, you stay in place. Working harder on yourself means stepping off that treadmill and into deliberate growth. Read what challenges you. Study those who inspire you. Keep a journal of the lessons life whispers before it shouts. Don't rely on memory. Memory fades, but a written insight waits patiently for the day you need it. My mentor called it the law of the harvest. You reap what you sow, but you also reap where you sow. Sow only in your job and you harvest a wage. Sow in yourself and you harvest a future. One evening he asked me, "What are you planting in the soil of your own mind?" I had no answer. I was planting hours in someone else's field and wondering why my own life felt barren. That night I started a simple habit, 30 minutes of reading before bed every night. It felt small at first, but small seeds grow into forests if you give them time. Growth demands curiosity. It begins with questions. Why do some people rise while others stay stuck? What habits separate the fulfilled from the frustrated? Answers hide in plain sight, waiting for the curious to notice. Look around. Success leaves clues. Watch how a confident person greets a stranger, how a disciplined person handles a setback, how a thoughtful person listens more than they speak. Observation is free, but the insight it brings is priceless. And remember, there are two ways to see sight and insight. Sight shows you the world as it is. Insight shows you what it could become. Cultivate both. Pay attention to details others overlook. The way a leader pauses before answering. The calm in a crisis. The small daily rituals that build invisible strength. Those observations, repeated and practiced, become part of you. Before long, people will ask how you changed so quickly. And you'll know it began the moment you decided to work harder on yourself. Discipline is the next cornerstone. Start with the little disciplines. Make the bed. Keep the promise. Show up 5 minutes early. These small acts are the gym for your character. You can't lift the heavy challenges of life until you've trained with the lighter ones. When life hands you something big, you'll be ready, not because luck arrived, but because muscle was built in secret. Self-motivation is essential. Don't wait for someone to light a fire under you. What if they don't show up? Motivation borrowed is temporary. Motivation owned is unstoppable. Set your own goals, craft your own reasons, remind yourself daily why you refuse to settle. The world rewards those who take charge of their own ignition. This isn't theory, it's a choice you can make today. You can decide right now to become a student of life instead of a follower of routines. You can decide to read when others scroll, to listen when others talk, to observe when others rush. You can decide to turn every ordinary day into a classroom for extraordinary growth. No one can do it for you, and no one can stop you. Look back over the last 5 years. Are you the same person you were then? If the answer is yes, ask yourself why. The next 5 years will pass whether you grow or not. The question is, will you be different when they're done? Will you have built the skills, the character, the wisdom that draw opportunities like a magnet? Or will you simply have collected more pay stubs? Working harder on yourself than on your job is not selfish. It's the most generous thing you can do. A stronger, wiser you serves family, friends, and community at a higher level. Your growth creates ripples, better conversations, better ideas, better solutions. And those ripples become waves that change the shoreline of other lives. So tonight, before you sleep, decide. Will you keep trading hours for dollars, or will you start investing hours in yourself? One path offers a living. The other offers a life. The choice is yours, and it starts now. Growth is not a race, but it is a climb, and the climb demands effort every single day. Most people wait for inspiration to strike like lightning. The serious student creates their own weather. Think of the musician who practices scales when no audience listens. The athlete who trains when no camera records a single move. Their excellence is invisible long before it becomes undeniable. Your personal development is no different. The habits you repeat in private will one day announce themselves in public, and the world will call it talent or luck, but you will know it was practice. Discipline begins in the small, unseen corners of your life. The decision to read instead of scroll. The choice to rise when the alarm rings rather than when comfort allows. These tiny votes for a better self accumulate into a character that opportunity trusts. A mentor once told me, if you want to lead, first learn to keep promises to yourself. At first it sounded too simple to matter, but the longer I lived, the truer it became. A person who cannot keep a quiet commitment, to write a page, to take a walk, to study for 30 minutes, will eventually break louder ones too. Discipline is destiny disguised as daily routine. Self-education is the next great climb. Formal schooling can start you on the road, but only self-education takes you beyond the traffic jam of average. Read what challenges you. Attend workshops. Listen to voices that stretch your thinking. One good book can save you 5 years of trial and error. One conversation with a thoughtful person can shift the course of your career. If you wish to be wealthy, study wealth. If you wish to be happy, study happiness. Knowledge is available like oxygen, but you must choose to breathe it in. While you study, observe. Observation is the silent apprenticeship. Success leaves clues in posture, tone, timing, even in the way someone greets the day. Watch the confident handshake, the patient pause before answering, the careful way a seasoned leader frames a question. Take notes on what works. Borrow courage from their example until it becomes your own. The mind that pays attention turns ordinary encounters into master classes. And as you learn, act. Learning without action turns wisdom into trivia. The value of a lesson lies in its application. If you read about the power of gratitude, write a thank you note today. If you hear a principle about saving and investing, move a portion of your paycheck to a savings account before the week is out. Knowledge stored but unused is like seed left in the bag. It never grows, it never feeds, it never multiplies. Perhaps you wonder, will these small efforts really change anything big? The answer is hidden in the rhythm of seasons. A farmer does not plant a single seed today and harvest a field tomorrow. But come harvest time, the invisible weeks of watering and weeding reveal their quiet power. Your own habits are seeds. Each book you read, each promise you keep, each hour you devote to growth is a silent planting. In time, the harvest appears in your confidence, your income, your relationships, your influence. Growth also demands that you guard your environment. You can't expect to plant roses in a field of weeds and not have a fight on your hands. Who you spend time with, what voices you let into your mind, what media you consume. These either fertilize or poison your progress. Take a quiet inventory of the people around you. Do they cheer for your growth or mock it? Do they spark ideas or drain them? Association is a choice. You cannot always choose your co-workers, but you can choose who gets your evenings, your weekends, and your mental space. Seek out those who lift you, challenge you, and live as examples of where you want to go. Sometimes the hardest growth is the growth of character. Skills can open doors, but only character keeps them open. Integrity is not a marketing slogan. It is a habit of honesty when nobody is watching. It is delivering on promises when the reward is small and the temptation to cut corners is large. When you work harder on yourself, you polish the invisible qualities: patience, kindness, humility, courage, that eventually shine brighter than any RA summit. People sense it. Opportunities flow to it. And you will stand steadier when life tests you, as it surely will. Another truth my mentor pressed into me was the importance of vision. Don't just see with your eyes, he said, see with your mind. Sight is what's in front of you, vision is what could be. Spend time each week picturing the person you intend to become, not merely the possessions you hope to own, but the values you hope to embody, the contribution you hope to make. That vision acts like a magnet, drawing you forward when routine feels heavy. Action is the bridge between vision and reality. You can read every book in the library, attend every seminar, listen to every podcast, and still remain unchanged if you never act. Start small, but start today. Draft a personal mission statement. Wake up 30 minutes earlier to study a skill. Reach out to someone you admire and ask a thoughtful question. Momentum is born from motion, not intention. And remember, the purpose of personal development is not to create a monument to self, but to increase the good you can do. The better you become, the more you can serve your family, your community, even strangers who may never know your name. A stronger, wiser you becomes a lighthouse for others who are searching through their own fog. So ask yourself now, what promise can you keep to yourself before the sun sets? What single action can you take tomorrow morning that will make you just a little stronger, a little wiser, a little more prepared for the opportunities ahead? You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You need only to begin and to keep beginning every day. Working harder on yourself than on your job is not a one-time project. It's a lifetime habit. The job may change. The economy may change. Technology will certainly change. But the person you become through deliberate growth will always be your greatest security. Invest in that person daily, and you will discover that while others chase success, success begins to chase you. The real breakthrough comes when personal development stops feeling like a project and starts feeling like a way of life. At first, growth may appear on your calendar as a line item: 30 minutes of reading, a morning workout, a quiet hour of reflection. Over time, it becomes part of your identity. You don't simply schedule growth, you live it. That's when you notice subtle shifts, conversations deepen, opportunities widen, and even challenges arrive dressed as teachers rather than threats. Consider the difference between someone who merely performs tasks and someone who continually refines the person performing them. Two people may share the same title and the same responsibilities, yet their trajectories diverge. One treats the job as the destination, the other sees it as a training ground. The second person reads beyond the job description, studies the industry, develops communication skills, and sharpens emotional intelligence. Promotions and partnerships often follow not because management favors them, but because value naturally gravitates toward the person who creates it. This principle is more relevant now than ever. Technology changes at lightning speed, markets shift overnight, and entire industries rise and fall in a decade. Jobs are no longer lifelong guarantees. Skills become obsolete quickly. But the habit of self-education, the discipline of daily improvement, and the courage to adapt are timeless assets. When you work harder on yourself, you future-proof your life. You become the kind of person who can pivot when circumstances demand it, because you are not defined by a single role. You are defined by your ability to learn and to lead. Another layer of growth is emotional maturity. Technical skills may open a door, but emotional wisdom determines how long you stay inside. It's the patience to listen when tempers flare, the humility to admit a mistake before it festers, the empathy to see a situation through another's eyes. These qualities aren't taught in most classrooms, yet they're the currency of lasting influence. And they're developed the same way physical strength is developed, by deliberate, repeated effort. Every time you choose calm over anger, understanding over judgment, you strengthen the muscle of maturity. Reflection is the quiet engine of this process. In a noisy world, moments of solitude are not luxuries, they're necessities. Set aside time to review your day, not just for tasks completed, but for character displayed. Ask yourself, did I speak with integrity? Did I keep my promises? Did I give my best energy to what matters most? These questions sharpen your inner compass and prevent the drift that leads to regret. Observation remains a constant companion on this journey. Keep watching people who inspire you, but also notice those whose choices you'd rather not repeat. Every encounter carries a lesson. A poorly run meeting teaches as much about leadership as a brilliant presentation. A conversation with someone who blames the world for every setback reminds you why ownership of your life is non-negotiable. Capture these insights in a journal. Patterns will emerge, and those patterns become a private curriculum tailored to your growth. Think of the mind as a garden. Left untended, weeds of negativity, fear, and complacency will grow uninvited. Tending the garden means feeding it with books, mentors, uplifting conversations, and daily gratitude. Gratitude is especially powerful because it turns what you have into enough and opens your eyes to opportunity. A grateful mind notices doors that a complaining mind never sees. Gratitude also shifts how you handle adversity. When life throws a curveball, and it will, gratitude steadies your grip on perspective. Instead of asking, why me? You begin to ask, what can this teach me? That single change transforms obstacles into instructors. A failed project becomes a lesson in preparation. A difficult relationship becomes a seminar in patience and empathy. Even loss, as heavy as it feels, can deepen compassion and clarify what truly matters. The grateful person does not deny pain, they simply refuse to let pain be the final word. Action, however, remains the bridge between insight and impact. You can reflect for hours, read shelves of books, attend every seminar in town, and still remain unchanged if you never take the next small, decisive step. Start today with something measurable. Apply a new strategy at work, initiate a challenging conversation you've delayed, or begin a side project that excites you. Small action is powerful because it creates momentum, and momentum attracts more opportunity than perfect planning ever will. Consistency gives these actions their compound power. Anyone can change for a week. Few choose to change for a year. But when you string together ordinary days of consistent effort, the results begin to look extraordinary. Picture a bricklayer. One brick doesn't look like much. 10 bricks still don't look like a house. But give that bricklayer time and steady effort, and soon a structure rises where there was only air. Your habits are those bricks. Lay them daily, and you build a life that seems miraculous to those who only watched. Guard your words as carefully as your actions. Language shapes reality. The way you describe your life, out loud and in thought, sets the boundaries of what is possible. Replace, I can't, with how can I? Replace. This always happens to me with what is this teaching me? These shifts might sound small, but they require expectation. And expectation is the soil where results grow. As you practice these disciplines, something almost mystical occurs. You begin to attract opportunities. Not because luck suddenly favors you, but because people recognize value when they see it. A manager notices your steady professionalism. A friend recommends you for a new project. A stranger offers collaboration because your reputation for reliability reached them first. From the outside, it might look like coincidence, but you will know it is simply the harvest of seeds sown in quiet persistence. Remember, the goal of working harder on yourself is not self-absorption. It is service. The stronger you become, the more you can give. Ideas, support, leadership, compassion. A well-developed person is like a well that never runs dry. Family, colleagues, and community draw strength from that well. Your growth multiplies far beyond your own life. So, pause and ask, if someone were to describe me 5 years from now, what qualities would I hope they name? Visionary, kind, resilient, disciplined. Start living those qualities today. They are not trophies to win someday. They are muscles to exercise right now. Each decision is a rep, each habit a set, and the character you admire is built one repetition at a time. Working harder on yourself than on your job is a lifelong invitation. Accept it daily, because when you do, promotions, wealth, and recognition stop being the goal and become the byproducts of a much greater success, the person you choose to become. Every journey of growth eventually circles back to the quiet decision you make each day to keep going. Momentum carries you through the firsts of enthusiasm, but endurance is what builds a legacy. Working harder on yourself than on your job is not a 30-day challenge or a 90-day sprint. It's a lifelong practice of choosing the long road over the shortcut, the lesson over the excuse, the steady climb over the quick applause. There will be seasons when the rewards seem invisible. You will read a dozen books before one sentence truly reshapes your thinking. You will practice a skill for months before anyone notices the ease in your performance. You will keep promises to yourself long before the world rewards you for integrity. But these unseen efforts are not wasted. They are the underground roots of a tree that will stand for decades. Growth that lasts is rarely dramatic. It is quiet, persistent, and patient. During these seasons, doubt will try to bargain with you. Why bother? It whispers. No one sees the extra effort. No one cares if you quit tonight. But discipline is forged in the moments when quitting is easiest. Every time you resist that whisper, you reinforce a truth. You are not working for an audience. You are working for a future self who will thank you. Imagine meeting the person you could become 5 years from now. Will they thank you for today's choices or wish you had done more? Perspective keeps you steady. Step back often and remember why you began. Perhaps it was to provide a better life for your family, to escape the weight of debt, to create art that matters, or simply to live with a sense of purpose instead of drifting. Whatever your reason, revisit it when fatigue sets in. Write it on paper. Read it aloud. Purpose fuels persistence. Equally important is the practice of renewal. Working harder on yourself does not mean grinding without rest. Muscles grow in recovery, and so does character. Take time to breathe, to walk in nature, to laugh with friends, to enjoy the life you are building. Rest is not laziness. It is preparation for the next climb. Burnout serves no one. Another dimension of personal growth is contribution. The more you develop, the more you can give. Ideas, service, mentorship. Teach someone what you've learned. Encourage someone who has fallen behind. Share a book that opened your eyes. Contribution transforms personal growth from a private pursuit into a public blessing. The teacher always learns twice. Keep in mind that wealth, recognition, and titles are byproducts of a deeper success, becoming a person of wisdom and integrity. When you focus on character, the external rewards arrive naturally, and more importantly, they stay. They stay because they are anchored to the person you have become, not to a temporary windfall or a lucky break. So each morning, ask yourself 3 questions. What will I learn today? How will I practice discipline today? Whom can I serve today? The answers will guide you more reliably than any to-do list. They are the compass points of a life that grows richer in every dimension, financially, intellectually, spiritually. Legacy is the quiet echo of daily choices. You won't build it in a single grand gesture, but in the thousands of small decisions that shape who you become. Long after job titles fade and achievements are forgotten, the character you forged and the people you influenced will tell your story. That is the reward of working harder on yourself. It outlives the paycheck and outshines the resume. Think about those who have inspired you the most. Chances are it wasn't their wealth or position that left the deepest mark. It was their steadiness, their wisdom, their generosity. They invested in themselves so they could invest in others. They became living examples of possibility. You can be that example for someone else. Somewhere, a child is watching how you handle stress. A friend is noticing how you keep promises. A colleague is observing your patience. Without a word, you are teaching them what growth looks like. Do not underestimate the ripple of a single improved life. When you raise your own standards, you raise the expectations of those around you. Your consistency challenges their excuses. Your kindness softens their bitterness. Your courage sparks their own. Working harder on yourself is not selfish. It is one of the most generous acts you can offer the world. There will be days when you feel invisible, when progress seems slow and recognition distant. Remember that growth is rarely linear. Some seasons are for planting, others for waiting, and still others for harvesting. Trust the process. The seed does not doubt spring while buried in winter's soil. Continue your disciplines. reading, reflecting, acting, serving, even when no one applauds. The harvest always comes to those who keep sowing. Eventually, you'll notice the quiet rewards. Opportunities will appear that once seemed out of reach. People will seek your counsel without knowing exactly why. Challenges that once felt overwhelming will now look like stepping stones. You'll realize that the greatest change is not in your circumstances, but in yourself. The job may have changed, the market may have shifted, but you will stand taller because you built something no economy can take away. Character, wisdom, resilience. So tonight, before you set the alarm, pause and ask, what did I do today to become more than I was yesterday? Did I feed my mind with something worth remembering? Did I practice a discipline that strengthens me? Did I give something of value to someone else? These quiet questions, asked faithfully, will guide you far better than any external measure of success. Working harder on yourself than on your job is not about perfection. It is about direction. Each day you choose growth over comfort. You tilt the future a little closer to the life you imagine. The paycheck will come and go, but the person you are becoming is permanent. And when the next 5 years arrive, and they will, whether you prepare or not, you will look back with gratitude that you chose the harder, richer path to work on the most important project you will ever manage, yourself.